founder Julian Assange was arrested today for his alleged role in hacking classified U.S. military files. Assange spent the past 7 years, as you know, living in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. Well, American authorities are pushing to extradite him to the U.S. And I'm joined right now by U.S. Representative and 2020 presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii. Congresswoman, thank you for this. I wonder what your view is, because I don't know exactly what it is. What do you make of our effort to extradite and indict and punish probably Julian Assange?
I'm deeply concerned by what's happened today. We look back at the Obama administration's decision during his time not to do this, not to try to extradite Assange and charge him because of their concern about how this government action would impinge on freedom of the press. This is a blow to transparency and a blow to a free press when you have a situation where our government, is in a position where they can basically create this climate of fear against somebody or those who are publishing things that they don't like or saying things that they don't like. And that's the concern here. This is a threat to journalists, but it's also something that threatens every American, because the message that we are getting, that the American people are getting by what's happened here today is, be quiet, toe the line, otherwise there will be consequences.
What happens at the Mueller report if we get a good look at it next week and it's not too heavily redacted? And we get a look at it and it shows that WikiLeaks, Assange himself, worked with the Russians to put out their attacks on the Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton in 2016. Is that journalism?
I don't think it's helpful for anyone to deal in hypotheticals. I think it's important, and I've called from the very beginning for the Mueller report to be released so that we in Congress and the American people can take a look at it and see what's in there.
Okay, an interview, by the way, on CNBC today, Vice President Mike Pence said that embattled Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro must go. Let's watch the Vice President.
Well, over the past 6 years, the people of Venezuela have been suffering through deprivation and the dictatorship of Nicolas Maduro. From the early days of this administration, President Trump has made it clear Nicolas Maduro has no legitimate claim to power, and Nicolas Maduro must go.
I wonder about the neocons, if they're coming back, Congresswoman, and whether they see an opportunity in Latin America. Do you think there's a real danger of a wag the dog situation where Trump, you don't like to hypotheticals, and here's another one for you to knock off. But, I mean, do you think they're up to something? You hear the vice president, they're saying things, everything's on the table, military action, everything. The thought of the United States Army going into Venezuela, what do you make of it?
Yeah, look, this administration and the neocon war hawks that surround President Trump have made no secret about what their intentions are to further this regime change effort, both in Venezuela as well as in Iran. So we're hearing these war drums beating. President Trump is acting not with our interests in mind, not with the American people's interest in mind, and moving forward with something that will prove to be very, very costly.
Well, how did a guy... I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I don't want to interrupt so much as I always do, but I want to ask you this question. I'm so hot to trot on this one. How can a president who ran against stupid wars, and I loved it when Trump said that, I'm against stupid wars, hire John Bolton, Sheldon Adelson's guy, his pick, and why did he bring Elliott Abrams back in on Latin America? I mean, what's going on? He brought the Neos in to do their old stuff again. How do you explain that switch?
That's a great question. But the reality is that we're facing is that we do have a situation with a cabinet full of neocon war hawks whose history is very well known in leading our country into one regime change war after the other, and to great expense in American lives, to trillions of dollars coming out of our taxpayers' pockets, as well as the lives and the suffering and the devastation of the people in the countries where we've waged these wars.
How can you explain that every major Democrat in the United States Congress, I mean, the people I generally like, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, they all supported the Iraq war. They all did it. They haven't apologized that I know about it. Yeah. They all started back that stupid war. Why? Why do smart people back a stupid war? And they did.
Look, it's unfortunate to see how the influence of the foreign policy establishment in Washington, the military-industrial complex, so often goes and wages these regime change wars under the guise of humanitarianism. saying, well, we're going to go in and try to help people in these countries, when in fact, every single time what we see is these regime change wars that our country leads ends up increasing the suffering of people in those countries, increasing the devastation. And as we've seen in the Middle East, in countries like Iraq and Libya and Syria, our regime change wars have made our country less safe by strengthening terrorist groups like ISIS and al-Qaeda. The real threat that we're facing right now, Chris, this is an existential threat with this heightening of tensions between the United States and countries like Russia and China, nuclear-armed countries that have propelled us into this new Cold War.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.